There's an easy way and there's a hard way to write out major scales in different keys. And what I showed you in the previous set of videos was the hard way, trying to painstakingly figure out note by note, interval by interval, each note of the scale. For instance, if I said make a major scale starting on A, we would go through this whole procedure. We would start on A. I'm going to write my A note head right here, and that's going to be our first scale degree. And then we know we have to follow the pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And I know that I'm going to end on an A if I start on an A. And then I know that I'm going to have one of each of the letter names. So I'm going to have one B, I'm going to have some kind of a C, some kind of a D, some kind of an E, some kind of an F, and some kind of a G. And now I have to figure out for each one of these scale degrees, I have to figure out what is the correct note. What is the correct number of half steps that I need? So let me just write out the scale degrees here. 6, 7, 8. Okay, so from A to B, I need a whole step, and I've got a whole step, so I'm good. From B to C, I need a whole step, but I've got a half step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this C up by a half step by making that C into a C sharp. And then from C sharp to D, I need a half step, and now I do have a half step. From D to E, I need a whole step, and that's what I've got. From E to F, I need a whole step, but I've got a half step, so I'm going to change that F to an F sharp. And then from F sharp to G, I need a whole step, but I've got a half step, so I'm going to raise that G by one half step to G sharp. And then from G sharp to A, I need a half step, and now adding that G sharp, I've got a half step from G sharp to A. So there we go. I figured out my major scale using that pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. This is the hard way. And I think the hard way is valuable because it teaches us really how these scales work and gives us a good chance to get to know this pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. But there's another way that we can do this, and that is using a key signature. What I can do is rather than trying to figure out each individual note in the scale, I can put in a key signature right next to my treble clef for the key of A major. And we get a little bit of a sense of what that key signature would be just by writing out the scale. And remember, the key signature is that series of sharps or flats that we put right next to the clef that tells us that every single one of those notes that we indicate in the key signature is going to be an accidental. So if we put an E flat, every single E will be an E flat. If we put a C sharp, every single C will be a C sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract these three sharps that I have in the key of A and put them in my key signature. So we have F sharp. So I'm going to put that sharp in my key signature and erase. Now I don't need to write out the F sharp right here, so I'm going to erase that. Then I'm going to put my C sharp in the key signature down here. So now I don't need that, so I'm going to erase my C sharp right here, or the sharp that's in front of my C. And then I'm going to put a G sharp in the key signature, and I'm going to do that up here, G sharp. And so I'm going to erase that G sharp that I have in the scale. So now that I've got my three notes, my three sharps of the A major key signature right next to my treble clef, now I can just write a scale from A to A. and I'll automatically have all the correct whole steps and half steps. But we can't just do this in any order. There's a very, very specific way in which we have to do this. And in fact, we really have to get to know and memorize the unique key signature that each of the major keys has. And that's what we're going to be doing over this next series of videos.